Hey guys, it's Crystal and welcome back to my channel. This video has been a long-awaited video. I've been wanting to talk about these 4 books since I started reading them, but I decided to wait until I finished the series, or I was getting close to finishing the series, so that way I can talk about them. And the series that I'm talking about is the Twisted series by Anne Huan. So the first book in the Twisted series is Twisted Love. Some of the tropes to sum up this book: it's a grumpy sunshine, meaning the 2 main characters' personalities. So the main character, one of the main characters, Alex Volkov, he's very grumpy, tends to be described as like morally gray, just little to no emotion whatsoever, so that's why he's grumpy. And then the female main character, Ava, she is the sunshine. She's very happy, always in a good mood, sees the good in people. So this is a grumpy sunshine trope. It definitely has some of that touch her and I'll attributes to it, mainly from Alex Volkov. He is definitely one of those kinds of people where he's very kind of possessive over the main female character, especially once they end up together. They are neighbors, and Alex Volkov is Ava's brother's best friend, so it's brother's best friend trope, if that makes any sense. Going into this book, I had some expectations, but they were met, and then more expectations kind of just went overboard. I really liked this book. It was a great start to the Twisted series. It was really enjoyable. I liked both characters, especially Ava. I was able to relate to her because she's a very creative person. She does photography in this book, and obviously myself, I do videography, but I also do photography on the side. It's kind of more of a hobby, but I hope to turn it into a career someday. Who knows what God has in store for me? Wink, wink. There's something on the horizon for me. I don't want to talk about it just yet. I just want to wait on it, but just hinting that to you guys. But anyway, I really like this book. There is a lot of... This book is obviously a romance, but there is more to it than just the cutesy romance aspect. I don't want to spoil too much, but other than I'm just gonna say that there are some very inappropriate parts to this book. But overall, it was really enjoyable. I liked this book a lot. It definitely hooked me from the beginning and definitely hooked me for the rest of the series. And if you guys don't follow my book Instagram, I recommend doing that. I'll leave a link down below, as well as I'll put my username somewhere around here. But I rated this book a 5 stars. So that is Twisted Love. Book 2 in the book series is probably my all-time favorite of the book series, and that is Twisted Games. I don't know how else to put it. It had so many elements that I really, really liked. There was forbidden love, forbidden romance, the trope bodyguard and princess. It's just, oh, there was an age gap to it, and also grumpy sunshine. The 2 main characters, Reese Larson and Bridget, they just worked so well. I love them so much. Their story was absolutely beautiful and incredible, and just everything that these 2 had to go through for them to have their happily ever after was amazing. Like I said earlier, my favorite book in the series, probably because I'm a sucker for a princess type story, and also I'm a sucker for a happily ever after. But I really enjoyed this book. It was fun. It had its cutesy moments that I really enjoyed, but it also had some of its very inappropriate moments that I equally enjoyed as well. And just overall, I really, really liked this book. And I rated it a 5 stars. I enjoyed it. It was amazing. The characters were great. The story, the plotline, just everything was awesome. I really, really liked this book a lot. The next book, book 3, Twisted Hate, was probably one of the harder ones for me to get through. Some of the tropes were enemies to lovers, best friend's brother, enemies with benefits, and kinda, sorta, not really forced proximities. Reason why it was one of the harder ones to get through is because I have my windows open, so I apologize if you guys heard that. One of the reasons why this book was a little harder to get through was I didn't really find myself liking and caring so much for Josh and Jules' story all that much. I mean, granted, yes, it was a good story. I liked the story, but I don't know. I had my moments where I just wanted to put this book down, but I stuck with it and I did like it, but not as much as I had hoped I would like it. Again, it was a good story. I liked getting to know Jules and I liked getting to know Josh. Josh is actually Ava's older brother, and Jules is Ava's best friend. Oh, one thing that I didn't mention, all of these books are connected in a way. The 4 main girls are all best friends, and the 4 boyfriends kinda sorta know each other in a way. Not saying that they're in a friend group. The only 2 friends out of the boyfriends is Alex and Josh. They're best friends. And Reese and the next boyfriend that I'll talk about in the 4th book were, I guess, co-workers in a way. So all the characters in the books are connected and you'll see them pop up in the other books as well. But as I was saying, back to this book, I didn't really find myself caring as much for these 2 characters as I had hoped. I mean, granted, there were some good moments between the characters, some like cute moments between the characters, but I found myself getting frustrated over Jules, and especially with her lack of communication towards Josh. But I get it. They started out hating each other, and then in the book they end up falling for each other. Sorry for the spoiler if you haven't read it. But other than that, it was a good story, good book. Definitely had some of its inappropriate moments, more inappropriate than the first two books, and that's also kind of sort of what turned me off from this book in many ways. But I still liked it nonetheless. I rated it a 5 stars. I probably could have gone a little bit lower because there was so much of it that I didn't really like, but still an enjoyable read. And the 4th and final book in the series is Twisted Lies. I am currently reading this one. I am just a little over halfway through it. Yeah, just about halfway, but I can already tell you the gist of what it's about. Fake dating between the 2 main characters, Stella and Christian. There's an age gap. He falls first, which is what I actually really like when it comes to romances, is when the guy falls first. So Christian falls first for her, which is so good. And forced proximities. Trying so hard not to give so much away if some of you guys haven't read this book, but what happens is Stella and Christian started out living in the same apartment building, but then something happens to Stella, and then Christian has her move in with him. So now they are in the same living space, living arrangement. This is also a slow burn book, and what I mean is that the tension between these 2 characters you can easily cut with a knife. I like these two characters. They have their moments. Christian is also seen as like a morally gray kind of character. He hasn't really opened up himself that much. He's seen as, you know, kind of sort of grumpy and just all around keeps to himself and doesn't really open up. And what I really like is that he is slowly opening up to Stella. And I really, really, really like that a lot. Just seeing him slowly open up. And he has his moments where he recoils, but he's opening himself up. And I like it. Stella, on the other hand, she is an amazing character. I like her character a lot. She works with different brands and gets different brand deals. She is very well known on Instagram. She runs a blog as well, and she is in the process of coming up with her own clothing brand line. I think it's clothing line that's in fashion vocabulary. And yeah, she's kind of sort of seen as like the sunshine character. She's happy, she sees the good in people. She comes from not the best family, and you find that out in the book, but she's an awesome main character. I really like her character a lot, and just her passion and her motivation to get into the fashion industry. She also kind of sort of reminds me a little bit of me trying to get into the film industry. I have passion and I have drive, and I want to break into an industry that can be very unpredictable and can be unstable. So I really relate to Stella a lot. And even though I haven't finished this book just yet, I'm going to predict that I'm going to give this book either 4.5 stars or a 5-star rating. Like I said, I've enjoyed this book thus far, and I haven't finished it yet, so I haven't rated it yet. So I'm predicting that I'm going to give this book a 5-star rating. So yeah, that is the entire Twisted series: Twisted Love, Twisted Games, Twisted Hate, and Twisted Lies. I have been enjoying this series for the better part of this first quarter of the year. Like I said, I'm still on Twisted Lies, and I will be wrapping that up hopefully by the end of this week. Once I finish this romance series, I'm going to move away from romance for a little while. I want to take a break because I feel like I've had more than enough of romance for a while. So I'm going to move on to hopefully reading a thriller book. I have a bunch of standalone thrillers on my shelf. And then after those, or after the one that I read, I haven't decided which one just yet, I am going to read some of my YA dystopian books. I am deciding between a few. All of them are obviously a part of a series, but I don't know which series to start with just yet. But once I do pick a series, I will let you guys know which series I'll be reading, and obviously plan a video talking about the series that I read, what I rated each book, and whether or not I recommend it. And speaking of recommendations, I definitely recommend reading the Twisted series if you haven't read it already. With that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Please give it a like, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys are currently reading and what is your favorite book that you've read so far this year, and what was your recent 5-star read. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Click that notification bell so that you guys are notified whenever I post a brand new video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next week with a brand new video. Bye!